All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, I've stated this in the past about Mr. LeBron Ramon James. It seems to me like he just can't win a real championship on the up and up. There's always some fuckery going on whenever LeBron is involved. In his first championship, that was in a strike-shortened season, or a lockout-shortened season, I should say. The second championship involved Mr. Ray Allen saving his legacy, and no matter what people say, Ray Allen saved that dude's legacy, because down the stretch of that Game 6 in 2013, LeBron was not good, particularly in the last 3 minutes or so. I don't care what Shannon says about how many points he scored. Yes, LeBron tried to go all out, but those turnovers, as Skip Bayless brings up, they were graphically bad. They were grossly horrendous. And I was sitting there as someone who was rooting for LeBron to get another championship at that time, wondering in amazement, like, what the fuck was he doing? Until Ray Allen, once again, saved his legacy. Because if they lose that game, LeBron James is known as one of the greatest chokers in the history of the NBA when it comes to players who are considered quote-unquote superstars. In 2016, he pretty much needed about 10 different things to go his way in order for his Cleveland Cavaliers, who had more overall talent than the Golden State Warriors from top to bottom, just for them to come back from down 3-1. And now this year, of course, you have the quote-unquote global pandemic, and seemingly the LA Clippers imploding from the inside out. Well, Mr. Pat Riley, who of course is no stranger to NBA championships, has declared that there should be a quote-unquote asterisk associated with the Lakers' 2020 COVID-19 Plandemic Black Lesbians Matter title. Of course, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Let's move on to talk about another one of your favorites, LeBron James. A lot of people in NBA circles continue to point to the bubble.
There goes Mr. LeBron James once again showing that he's the master, AD is the apprentice. This was Kabbalistic right here.
The reason LA's latest ring isn't legit, but on Friday, Heat president Pat Riley said the Lakers title has an asterisk.
I've already done a video on the quote-unquote rake symbol that he was doing that has the Gangsta Disciples gang so upset. Once again, I think that this was Kabbalistic / Masonic as well.
Associated with it because the Heat were without key players, Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, during the series. Riley later clarified his comments and did admit the Lakers were the better team. However, Lakers VP Rob Pelinka went on Woj's podcast and dismissed all of the above, saying that the championship doesn't have an asterisk, but rather a gold star.
Whoa.
Shannon, does Riley have a point?
I'm thinking about platinum star if I'm a Rob Pelinka. Pat, come on, Pat. Pat has been around the game, Skip, 40 plus years.
Absolutely. That's why he said what he said. Because he knows that if you play NBA playoff games in a vacuum, there's going to be a different impact as opposed to having to go on the road and playing at home. It's just the bottom line of it. If the Lakers had to play in Denver for 3 games, or games 3 and 4 per se, do you really think that they would have won that series in 5 games? If the Lakers are playing the Houston Rockets and have to go on the road against that team, and there's no worries about sneaking women into the bubble, so Daniel House is not suspended or whatever happened to him, do you think that they beat the Rockets in 5 games? If the LA Clippers get to play at home and go on the road against the Denver Nuggets themselves, do you think that the Denver Nuggets beat them? I don't think so. So there is going to be an asterisk next to this title. I don't care who don't like that.
He knows better than this. Nobody said Golden State had an asterisk with Kyrie and Kevin Love was out.
Right, but once again, the Golden State Warriors played an actual series at home and also in Cleveland. Pat Riley's talking about the fact that you're playing within a vacuum. The environment is totally different. It really is more like an exalted AAU tournament. And that's why LeBron James was able to enjoy it so much, because he's accustomed to it. He also knew that it was in the cards for him to win this championship. Every time a team got competitive, you could tell that Adam Silver gave the referees the notice, make sure that the Lakers are put in the position where basically they have to choke the game away in order to lose. And that's what made things easier. There were certain games strategically you could see, whether it was, I believe it was game 2 against the Rockets, or whichever game the Rockets had won, and then the game after that, the referees basically had it out for the Rockets. The referees had it out for the Denver Nuggets after they were able to steal a game. I think it was game 3. So on and so forth. So, I mean, it was in the script for LeBron to win. I give him credit because he got the job done within the script.
Nobody said Toronto had an asterisk when KD missed. Nobody said Jordan had an asterisk when Byron Scott and James Worthy got injured. Nobody said that.
Once again, Shannon Sharpe, they played an actual series. They didn't play at the local YMCA.
Noticing every time old GOAT James gets an accomplishment, somebody tries to find a way to diminish what he's done. We've never done this in the history. Injuries are a part of it, Skip. You know that.
Absolutely. Injuries are a part of the quest for a championship, but Shannon Sharpe, you have to accept that this was an independent situation that occurred this season.
Isaiah got hurt against the Lakers. Nobody said they got an asterisk. Why they do this to GOAT James? Why do people try to minimize this man?
Because of people like you, Shannon Sharpe. You're toxic and you're obnoxious. People like you make others despise LeBron James. That's not even to mention his own toxic, self-worshipful, narcissistic personality. It turns people off. There's nothing charismatic about LeBron. I'm sorry. When I listen to him speak, even when I watch him play, he's entertaining, but he's not someone that you say, oh my God, I got to catch the LeBron game tonight, unless you're like 20 years old. Now, Jordan, he basically was the definition of a charismatic entity within the sports world at his time because he understood how to fall back. LeBron does not understand how to fall back, nor do his fanboys like yourself, Shannon Sharpe. That's why KD said what he said about the environment around LeBron being toxic. Everyone can sense it except for you.
Falling to me. Now I'm going to need some of the greatest scholars of our generation, and maybe in the future, I will need them to study this, like they did the Pythagorean theory. I will need this studied.
Well, I just broke it down for you, bro.
Why is it that when GOAT James did something, LeBron Ramon James, born December 30th, 1984, to Gloria,
to the sound of trumpets blaring in the night sky, Skip Bayless, the angels played the trumpets, and I love it.
Why would they do this? Why would they try to diminish this man, Skip? In the bubble, there's a reason why you're guys like Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Because think about it, Duncan Robinson had the second greatest rookie performance in a playoff game in NBA history.
Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero?
Magic Johnson. Do we believe that if they had to travel, he could have done this?
Right, but you're making Pat Riley's point, sir. You're making his point. Now, of course, Pat is speaking through the prism of the Miami Heat's chances to defeat the Lakers. But in all actuality, you're really making his point all the more. Because there were so many strange happenstances that occurred within that bubble. It's difficult to assign this or allot LeBron's accomplishment this season along the likes of many of the other accomplishments of the great superstars of the past. I just can't compare it. When you look at even a Kobe Bryant who was able to go on the road in Boston and win an important game in the 2010 NBA Finals, do we give that accomplishment the same level of credit if it occurs in a bubble? When Michael Jordan and the Bulls were able to go out to Utah in Game 6 in 1998 and defeat the Utah Jazz, who I think may have lost 2 games in the Delta Center that year, would that get the same amount of acclaim and esteem had that been accomplished in a bubble? Of course not.
Got some benefits from playing in this bubble also. And I understand he tried to caveat it by saying, I'm talking about the injuries to Bam and to Dragic. But are we to say if they're there that Jimmy Butler's going to give us those historic performances? Don't do that, Pat. You play too low. You play, you coach, you've been an executive. You know injury.
Also keep in mind that Pat Riley's job is to try to pump his team up for next season. The real question with the Miami Heat is, will they be able to add the piece or pieces that they need to be taken seriously as a title contender for the next 3 years? Because Jimmy Butler's not getting any younger. And please understand that he has a lot of wear and tear on his tires, a lot of attrition.
Part of this. Don't try to diminish this man. Don't do that.
Love on that man, Pat Riley. Love on that man like me and Savannah.
Shannon, Pat Riley despises LeBron James.
I wouldn't say that Pat despises him per se, but I'm sure that LeBron is not on his quote-unquote Christmas list.
LeBron James left him high and dry.
The culture. He
suddenly
culture.
Said, I'm going home.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
Tell the world.
He left Dwayne Wade high and dry because he thought Dwayne had dried up as a player.
Basically.
Both of these were balking, and Dwayne said, well, I got to suck it up, and I'm still going to stay close with LeBron because Dwayne's loved LeBron, and I think he wanted to keep the alliance going into their post-careers.
Absolutely. And I've already stated this in a previous video. Dwayne Wade is smart enough to understand that you don't want to fall out with LeBron. You want to make sure that you keep that so-called association or quasi-professional friendship, because post-career, that might give you easier chances to be associated with the NBA media and or maybe even television and movies, because LeBron has his own production company. So even though I'm sure that Dwayne felt betrayed, he wasn't going to make a big deal out of it necessarily. But Dwayne knows how sneaky LeBron is, because even when Dwayne got traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers, he looked at LeBron and asked him, did you know about this?
Be good for Dwayne.
Yeah, the man fulfilled his obligation for years.
And it wasn't until the 11th hour that he suddenly drops the bombshell on Pat Riley.
And don't get it twisted. I understand why LeBron did not tell anyone. Why would you tell Dwayne Wade that you're leaving? You know that Dwayne Wade's veins and arteries pump heat black, red, and gold? You know that shit already. So you're going to keep it to yourself and act like you're not quite sure what you're going to do or where you're going to go. So I don't blame him for that necessarily. But still, it's just a bad look. But at the end of the day, when you're trying to be mobile upwardly, certain things are going to have to be collateral damage.
I'm out. I'm leaving you. And remember, Pat Riley was stuck and he had to overpay Chris Bosh to keep him there. It was a disaster.
That was a disaster. But I'll say this, everyone cannot handle heat culture. Remember, Pat Riley, he tried to court Kevin Durant and that didn't work. I think that had KD went to Miami, who knows? Maybe he'd have a championship by himself down there, because Pat may have been able to build some things around him. But that's a very tough culture. It's very patriarchal down there. Pat and Eric Spoelstra are very demanding of their assets, and everyone's not built to play down there. Jimmy Butler's built to play down there.
Because LeBron just left them in a shambles.
Remember? Pat Riley runs his team. He didn't want to give LeBron access that he had in Cleveland. So do it your way. We hit it with the 22s. Out of here.
You did, because LeBron wanted all of his inner circle to have access to the team playing.
Do you want it? Do you want us? Do you want this? Yes or no?
Pat Riley wanted this finals so bad he could taste it like fine wine in Miami. And he knows what happened. He lost his leading playoff scorer, Goran Dragic, in Game 1. He lost his heart and soul player, Bam, in Game 1, and he never was the same the rest of the way.
Right, but you know and I know that Bam Adebayo was never going to be able to match up against Anthony Davis. I mean, it is what it is. The Heat, they were never going to beat the Lakers unless everything fell perfectly. Everything had to fall perfectly, and it didn't. And that's okay.
And he just says, asterisk. And then he backtracked and said, we'll put the asterisk on our side, not on the Lakers' side. But you know and I know what he wanted to do.
And when I say fall perfectly, what I mean is the Heat would have had to have remained perfectly healthy, and the referees would not have been able to get involved. Had those two things occurred, I think that the Heat would have defeated the Lakers in 7 games.
He wanted to hang it right on your forehead, a big old asterisk.
You see what he's trying to do here? Now, look, you understand when you take on LeBron, there are some things that come along with LeBron. You know, Randy Mims, he's his right-hand personal guy. He's going to probably need to be there.
I'm sure he could roll with Randy, but then it was Maverick, then it was Rich.
Okay, you understand it.
Then it was Shannon.
Let me tell you.
Skip, watch your mouth. You know, truth be told, I was the reason why LeBron left Miami. I told LeBron, how come I can't get on the team playing? He said, I don't know, I'll speak to Pat Riley about it. I said, well, hurry up, because I want to see you on that goddamn plane. I want to know what you're doing. Come to find out, LeBron told Pat. Pat said, kiss my ass. LeBron responded back, bump all that, I'm loyal to my family. Next thing you know, we back in Cleveland.
Hey, what happens? Skip, when I was in college, there's this girl was walking by. I saw her for like a month, Skip. She was walking across. Nobody said a word to her. Then all of a sudden, I said, I told my roommate, I said, that's going to be my girlfriend. So we started talking. She says, well, I want to tell you something. I said, so what's up? She said, I have a child. I said, I don't care anything about that. I said, I understand that. That's a part of you. I accept that. When you take that guy on.
But did she accept you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Now, Skip Bayless, what type of dumbass question is that? I'm like E.F. Hutton. When I speak to bitches, listen.
Skip, baby.
It sounded like we didn't get to the punchline of that story.
Skip. They wanted Shay. You had to understand them.
Skip, I put it like this. By the time we was done, she had 2 kids.
Dog, I'm Shay.
Who remains single.
No, I'm not. See, there you go. See, this is what I do. I keep my stuff under wraps.
Okay.
Single, I'm not, but that's neither here nor there.
All right.
When you sign that guy, you know what comes along with him, Skip.
Now back to your man, Rob Pelinka.
Yeah.
Gold star, my you-know-what.
No, platinum.
How about a lucky star?
No, this, Skip.
They avoided the team that would have taken them down, the team in the basement. The Clippers.
You gag.
They avoided. It's a big old asterisk. No, Clippers. I told you when I gave you the cubic zirconia ring that you deserve, that it had to be inscribed inside the ring. Asterisk, no, Clippers.
It's not my fault. Y'all had 15 Popeyes biscuits with nothing to drink. You got.
Hey, look, the thing about the Clippers is that it's very obvious to me that something was amiss there. Not only within the team, there was inner turmoil, but it certainly was against the overall script for them to face the Lakers, because I think that even Adam Silver knew that even Steven, the Lakers were not going to beat the Clippers. At least I don't think so. It depends on how legitimate the chemistry issues were. But the way in which Kawhi Leonard played in that last game, it seemed as if he was almost missing some of those mid-range shots on purpose. I'll leave it at that.
That's what happened. Now, it's not our
Those
fault.
biscuits are so good, I think they'd go down without.
No, they don't. No. Skip, why
They
y'all
melt in your mouth.
Skip, why y'all try to do this to my guy? Why y'all keep trying to take my guy? Skip, you keep talking about Tom Brady joining the Succaneers. My guy went to the Lakers and hadn't been to the playoffs in how long?
Absolutely. He went to the Lakers, who hadn't been to the playoffs in how long? And in his first season there, they still didn't go to the playoffs, Shannon Sharp. That's how you know who the real MVP of that team is. Thank you, sir.
You laughed at him. You talking about he coming to be Michael B. Jordan. Oh, Rob Parker got here, kid. He gonna be a 6'8" Kevin Hart.
And what happened the first year?
He can't.
Thank you, sir.
Whoa. The first year. So did he retire?
No playoffs happened. No playoffs. He was going Michael B. Jordan because he's going to do Space Jam 2.
He did it.
What?
And guess what happened?
There's only one Space
Hold
Jam.
on, and guess what happened? Just like he shot Space Jam last offseason and won the title, just like the previous guy shot Space Jam and won that title.
Ding, because it's all scripted. Thank you, Shannon Sharp. That's probably the most insightful thing that you stated. Because they knew in order for them to build up that film, Space Jam 2, they needed LeBron James to win the championship, because Space Jam 2 is also going to depict certain ritualistic / esoteric components that are very important to LeBron James' overall programming. The original Space Jam showed Michael Jordan basically as the proverbial Alice heading into Wonderland. That's why he had to follow the White Rabbit. So we'll see what happens in Space Jam 2 to LeBron James. I believe that according to the plot line, it's also going to feature his son. So we'll see. Maybe he plays proverbial Asar or Osiris, and his son plays Horus or Heru. Once again, we'll find out.
I told you it was going to happen.
It was a bubble title. It was a COVID championship. You know it, and I know it, because even the great Jared Dudley, my friend, said on a podcast just a couple of weeks back, those boys, meaning the Clippers, those boys didn't want to be in no bubble because they didn't. They didn't want to go in the first place.
They want that fire.
So the only place LeBron was going to win a championship was in the bubble. He went just gung-ho. He was all in on the bubble from day one.
Hold on. If I play
Skip nothing. Skip is correct. LeBron was basically the galvanizing force to make the bubble tournament happen. Despite the Divine Twins, Kyrie Irving and Avery Bradley, trying to stop it, a.k.a. 11-11. They were trying to stop it. But LeBron James knew that this was going to be his best opportunity to win a 4th championship.
basketball, and this is okay. the title is still up for grabs.
Yeah.
Because I watched the trophy. It looked like the Larry O'Brien trophy to me. And the one that he got, the little minute about 2 feet tall, that looked like the Bill Russell trophy to me. Now, that's what it looked like to me now. Are those fake? Y'all keep you, led by you. This is all you that's been leading this charge, trying to diminish my guy. But you know, Skip, you only make us stronger because that fuels us. We gonna get enough
No, so what fuels you is HGH, allegedly.
next year.
Yeah. This championship was as fake as the color of LeBron's beard, which was gray for a while, and then it went jet black.
You're a hater. I don't care what anybody says. You a hater. Ain't that fake? That's okay. Bron.
Look at that beard.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Skip, let's be for real. We know damn well that your hair is not actually honey blonde, so somebody's coloring your shit too.
That's your championship
That's beard oil. That's that beard oil.
I don't think anyone can say
You're a hater, Skip, baby. You're such a hater.
Yeah, if you
Truth
guys
teller.
don't do anything to the color of your hair, I'm not calling anyone out.
Uh-oh. Jenny's shooting darts out here.
I ain't did nothing to mine.
You can't critique LeBron.
Bullshit, Shannon. Not only do you color your shit, but that makeup artist in the morning got to fix your hairline.
He's getting a little older.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, just a little bit. He ain't gonna look at the hair. Hair full of hair.
Yep.
You been at a hair full of hair.
Yep. It's growing.
Getting younger
You're a hater.
and younger by the
You're a
day.
hater.
But anyway, that's basically it on that, brothers. We'll see what happens next season. Do I agree with Pat Riley that there should be an asterisk next to LeBron James' championship? Well, literally, no. But figuratively, yes. Because this is the first title that was played out outside of the normal environment or atmosphere that we're accustomed to, that we know is a factor. There's a reason why certain prominent or better teams throughout the NBA fight for the ability to have home court advantage in the playoffs, because they don't want to have to win important games on the road, especially in certain locations where the fans are known for being rambunctious. It's understandable. But once again, it is what it is. LeBron was able to complete his part of the script. So peace.